Welcome to Maker's Perspective. This piece is the next sphere. I'll start with a small starter bubble and then gather on it and execute the shape. I go to the marver with relatively fresh gather and marver out a small cylinder. I come down on the moil to come off the marver and then pop a bubble. Start out with the jack blades on the moil and then work into the bubble. Some paddle side of the jacks on the end of the bubble and then a puff. Now, one of the things to think about with a necked piece is I believe once you make the neck, just almost think about it as the pipe's just a bit longer. Sure, you need to flash deeper and things of that nature, but basically it's just an extension of the pipe and more worrying about the shape. Alright, back to the present, and here we are gathering. Bubbles nice and cool. Ease my way down and come out with a nice fresh gather. Making sure to touch everything and giving it a quick heat. So come back, give it a stretch, block it a bit, really squeeze down the bubble, so having JW blow. I don't really like how it was blowing out or how the heat was, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more heat. So a little stretch, lock the whole thing, and blowing it out. Now over to the marver, starting on the tip and easing my way down. Make sure there's thickness at the bottom, and then that thickness kind of thins out as you get up towards the pipe. Now for most things in necks, I might do things a little bit differently, but I'll sit down and I'll use the newspaper to kind of smooth it out and not chill the bubble. Looking back to make sure where my newspaper is. Give it the whole piece a little stretch. Grab my newspaper, start kind of on the moil, and then go down to the bottom. Have JW start blowing, and by being on the bottom, I'm making sure that it blows up at the top. I want the thickness up at the bottom, and then blown out nice at the shoulders. So that's where I'll start to put my neckline and then my jack line after I've pulled it out. When I'm heating, I'm kind of at a slight angle with the pieces up. I find that way easier if you're going to start a piece with the neck. Let it fall back slightly on the stick and then hang it on your way over. Then put your jack line in about 2 inches off the pipe. Kind of make that area a cold anchor as well as that shoulder. That way you can pull on and then come back maybe 3/4 to an inch and put in your final jack line. Then go back in, pull out a little bit more, and back to the main jack line. So, heating up the whole thing, pulling, kind of a good shot of showing kind of the ball supporting the shoulder from underneath for the jag blades, and going on the paddle side and making sure it blows out into a sphere. So it was a nice deep flash. And now I'm starting heating up on the sphere area to be able to blow it out more. Heat it up, give it a little cap, squat it, and back to the heat. So to blow out the sphere from the shoulder down all the way to the bottom, just give it some more volume. If the piece is ever a little bit off, you can always take one jack blade from underneath the neck and support it. Right now the piece looks all right. Heating it up again. Here I take the jacks, flip them around, and I'm just using one blade just to support. Make sure I wiggle it on center.
And stop. Great.
It's always important to make sure everything's as on center as possible before you start blowing. Now I'm using the Oxy Pro. I'll torch just the very bottom, and then have JW blow, and I'll take the paddle and paddle the piece.
Cap.
I don't need a very big bottom, so by using the Oxy Propane torch, I can get a smaller area versus if I go to the glory hole and heat up the bottom that way.
James May and JW May. That's you? Yep.
Just torching the moil and the jack line. Grabbing that piece of cane and marking a small spot that I'll punty to. Make sure I have my little circle there. And my last flash before Ponty. Grabbing my tweezers, putting it on the very bottom, then putting my tweezers kind of at a slight angle and riding it, finding that high side. It feels fairly smooth, it's ready to drop off, or bonk off. Drop of water on the neck, and breaks off. So one blade inside, one blade outside, and push down on the neck. So that looks better. Nice deep flash.
Everybody, thank you.
I'll send you Joey's info.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. And I will let you know sooner than later about next week. Hopefully I'll let you know.
So for most neck shapes, you have to think that, well, everything is done except for the top. So kind of like how I earlier said, like it's basically an extension of the pipe or punty, the neck. Now you just flash, but just really have to realize or worry about that top section. The bottom sphere is done. In fact, sometimes when I make a bigger or larger sphere, I'll actually put a neckline on it, blow up the sphere, punty it, and then break off the neck. If I need a good straight sphere, that way I don't have a bad break. All you have to do is go in and trim, and then I can more easily open up the sphere to whatever diameter I need. But for this piece, I'll be leaving the neck, so I just need to refine that very tip area a bit.
I knew there was something else that I heard around.
It has a narrow opening, so I just need to heat it up just a bit so that it won't close on itself.
Got your water bottle?
Go in with my tweezers and pull out the glass, and then go in just past that cold part, making sure not to poke the other side with the shear blades, and then feed it right into the shears and trim. So a quick flash. Now I'll take my jacks, follow the contour of the neck, and then go in and straighten up the lip with the jacks and the paddle. So a deep flash. Now I'll heat up the top and prepare for the Sophie. Grab the Sophie,
Whoa.
put the punny a little bit back off the bench, and there you can see pulling it back when I'm done having JW blow. So a flash, and then a little bit extra heat on that top. So just opening up just the top just a little bit. And making sure the neck's center there by going back into the starting point or finishing point of the neck, however you want to look at it. Now I'll flash and heat that top section and get it ready for my final soapy. So sticking the Ponty off the bench a little bit, grab the soapy, blow, and see how it inflates just a little in the shoulder as well, just a bit. Now I'll grab my jacks and chill that neck area a little bit, and then start opening up. Sometimes the thinnest part of the neck is where the shoulder connects to the shoulder. So in heating and opening, you have to watch for that, as you can sink it in or you can pull it out. So as I go in and I finish that final contour, you can see that it kind of flattens out right up the top there. It sinks in. If I take my jacks and grab the neck and pull against JW's paddle, I can pull that area out. I can just use that colder neck area to pull out that little indentation. So go in right in the middle, the neck, then come out, make sure the thing is all on center. Looks good. So there's the next sphere. Now just torch the punny, and I'll give it a good flash.
Try and really redirect that fan up into your face, maybe.
I just think it's it does I don't think that matters so much. It's almost just like it has a time limit as far as how much you can operate.
Nice deep flash.
See if I can.
Yeah, it's just blue.
And there's the piece. Drop of water right on the connection point. A bonk, and now a torch.
18-minute window.
Take out any of the sharp spots. And that's how I do a little necked vase. Thanks for watching Maker's Perspective. Cheers.